What is up, Scrub fam? We are back with another video here today. Today we're going to be going over the deck that I would 100% play if I were attending ToP or the Vegas Regional. Before we get started in this video, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Alec Pastrana. Bearded Collectibles, best shop on the planet. If you're looking to pick up your Shield product for Series 9, make sure you go through Alec Pastrana and Bearded Collectibles. So, today we're going to be going over, again, like I said before, the deck that I would 100% be playing if I were attending the Vegas Regional or Tournament of Power. And I'm going to be going over, of course, the version of the deck that has Draft Box 4 cards and something new we've been doing, a version of the deck that doesn't have Draft Box 4 cards. So, if you don't have access to them, you're going to be able to play the deck anyway. So, straight into the deck itself. I wholeheartedly think that this is the best green-yellow Jiren deck I have played so far. The reason why is because we're going away from the stuff that is going to be cumbersome, harder to play, and doesn't actually win the game when you play it, and going with the best successor engine there is, which is SS2 Sun Gohan Wounded Victor. And this deck has tons of synergy. A lot of the cards work together, and that's what makes this deck feel so powerful. And you guys will find out here in a second when I start going over like the sample hands, turn progression, etc. So, just going to the list, we're playing 3 ToP Gates of Justice, probably the best one-drop that you have. Playing this card, your opponent discards a card, and then when you sack this card, your opponent discards a card as well. We're playing 3 Belmont Double Devastation. I mentioned in one of my previous videos. I truly believe this is one of the most undervalued cards in the set. If you haven't picked up your foil copies, do so now. It basically has an activate main. Choose 3 of your battle cards, place them in the drop area. Play this card. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. It also has blocker, it's 20k, and it's a 4 cost, which is important. This card has synergy with Surprise Attack Frieza. You KO one of your opponent's battle card. You play Surprise Attack Frieza. Boom. You have 8 already in play. And then Surprise Attack Frieza also has synergy with Ribrianne Massive Love. You Arrival in Ribrianne Massive Love, KO one of your opponent's battle cards. Surprise Attack Frieza comes into play. Boom. Then we are playing 2 Dr. Jiro Punisher of Terror as our super combo. The main reason why is because, of course, easier to rival, but then also you can get your Valiant Breakthrough in the drop area, so we get to play less copies of that card. And we're playing 1 Saiyan Instincts as well, just so we have that, flexibility when we're playing against different matchups. 2 Topo Mortality Surpassed. This is our barrier removal. We're playing the deck. Very easy to access card. You're going to be playing more in your sideboard, of course, because you're going to want more barrier removal, but overall, love Topo. 4 Dispo. Arguably the best card that Jiren has to offer in his own successor engine. Just being able to sack it to itself to draw 2 cards, or just being able to sack one of your Bardock Apes in this card to draw another card, or just, turn 1, charge yellow, swing at your opponent, play a Topo promo, sack the Topo promo after you swing with it, play a Dispo, draw a card. Card's just fantastic, highly flexible. We're playing the Cell Xeno Secret Rare. Of course, this deck gets to Successor 12 in a hurry. You'll see that in the video, later in the video when we go over the turn-by-turn progressions. Playing 3 Topo Bestower of Justice, the promo. Probably the best card in green-yellow Jiren, just because of the fact that it just becomes a 4 cost while it's there on the board. 3 Sun Gohan Wounded Victor. Like I said, probably the best successor card there is in the game, coming out in Series 9. Easy to access. Very powerful, 30k triple striker that becomes dual attack. 8 is the magic number. Anything that's like 9 and above is just like way too cumbersome, takes longer, or the energy cost is just like way too much worth the investment. SS2 Gohan is like that perfect balance. 4 Binary Blade Casserole. You guys know how much I love this card. This does everything in like that you want it to in the deck. It gets any of your 1-drops, so your Kunchi to start giving your guys that are 2 or less barrier. You Vaughn if you want to block her, and then Topo Gaze of Justice. Playing 4 Raiders of Warcry, of course. You have to. It's 4 costs, synergizes with Successor 8, allows you to put on early pressure offensively and defensively. It's just, the best card in every yellow deck, essentially. Like I said, we're playing 1 Great Ape Saiyan Goku Saiyan Instincts. Card's really good. You want it. 1 Swift Retaliation Cooler. You could probably up this to 2 if you wanted to, but it combined with your kill turn, or it combined with Cell Xeno is very brutal, so perfect card there. We're playing 4 Promo Jiren Pride of Universe 11. Just to be able to fetch those 1-drops back, rebuild that board after you sack your battle cards to Belmont, or after you sack them to Successor. Fantastic card to have. 2 Key Bomb Support Kakade. Your draw super combo. Being the 5-life super combo is relevant a lot of the times because you really don't want to go below 5, so you can actually, awaken on your own turn to get that value. And like I said, 2 Valiant Breakthroughs that we're going to be tutoring out with Dr. Jiro, so we can go ahead and make our Gohan a dual attack triple striker. So, the budget version of the deck itself. A lot of things stay the same, but there's a couple of key things. We're playing 3 Margarita, Adorable Assailant. This is, the angel from Universe 11. This card, ton of utility. If your leader card is yellow, you play this card. Then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and negate its skills. And then if it's in rest mode, it can't switch to active mode. And if that card is KO'd by a skill, then you can choose one of your opponent's cards in their hand and make them discard it. We're playing 2 Final Flash. Final Flash is a sideboard card in the other deck list, but it moves into the main board here because the card is just so good, so strong, because you can just, again, 15k combo, and then you negate skills with barrier. So just very powerful card here. So I love playing 2 Final Flash in the main if you're looking to play the budget version of the deck itself. Again, if you wanted to, you can not play Final Flashes because, again, you're going to have to charge green, and there's no, like, you basically have to charge, like, an early dual color and then never charge green the rest of the game. But you could put in another Swift Retaliation cooler, and then you could put in something like a 4th Margarita, or you can put in another 1-drop, just something to fill it out. But the budget version is really easy to achieve. So just some options there with your tech choices. And like I said, this deck's still going to have the same exact power level as a deck above it, the one that's like has Dropbox 4 cards, but not having Bardock Cape, of course, makes the deck worse. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, still very powerful to play. Sample hand and turn progression. So sample hand above. This is after Mulligan. We have Dr. Dro Super Combo, Rubrian, 8-drop Sun Gohan, 2-drop Topo, 2-drop Jiren, 2-drop Topo. So let's go to straight into turn 2. So turn 1, we just charged a dual color. We were on the draw. We swung. We played a 2-drop Topo into play. Now it's turn 2. Turn 2, opponent attacked us, so we took a life. We swing with our leader, take another life. We play a Casserole. We get a 1-drop Kunchi, and then we play a 1-drop Topo that we ended up drawing. So now, as you can see, we already have 8 cost of battle cards on the field on turn 2. So, and all of our guys are going to be protected under the guise of barrier. So remember that going forward. We move to the next turn itself. Here, we're going to be able to awaken this turn, so we end up tapping a green. So we're going to end up swinging with our leader before awakening. We end up super comboing Jacoo. You play Rubrian by tapping your green energy. You awaken untapping that energy. Since you blew something up with Rubrian, you play Surprise Attack Frieza. As you can see, right now, there is 16 energy with the battle cards in the field. Keep that in mind. And with the Dr. Dro Super Combo, we put that Valiant Breakthrough in the drop area, so now we have the access to turn 3 dual attack triple strike here. This is like one of the better draws in the deck that allows you to be aggressive early. So this is just some of the things that could happen with the turn progression. The next thing, as you can see, our hand is kind of busted. So you have the ability to then, swing with your Belmod, basically like sack your battle cards. So you swing with your Rubrian, you can swing with your Surprise Attack Frieza. You can then play the Belmod by sacking through your battle cards. So you choose Casserole, Rubrian, one other card, and get another 1-drop into play out of your deck because of Casserole. And now we still have 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 cost for the battle cards on the field. So then now you can sack 2 more battle cards to then play the 8-drop Sun Gohan. So pretty wild. There's a lot you can do. I mean, and if you just look at all the different lines you have here, so even just starting here, we could have arrived something our opponent's turn and got to play. Here, you can swing your Rubrian, swing your Surprise Attack Frieza, and then just sack your Topo straight up, right? Instead of sacking another card, play the Belmod, and then you could play the other Surprise Attack Frieza in your hand and then swing again. So swing. And then of course then you can go straight into the Valiant Breakthrough play. So it's just the deck that this is turn 3. This is just the deck seeing its cards that it wants to see anyway. And this is just the kind of turns you can put together. So many attacks, so many different swings that your opponent has to defend, and it's so early, in the game itself. So this deck is a handful for any person to face down or any opponent to face, because like I said, you just go from 0 to 100 so fast, and you're gonna find out. Like I said, I mentioned Belmod being one of the most undervalued cards in the set. The moment you play this deck, you're immediately going to realize how incredible that card is, just in tandem with stuff like Surprise Attack Frieza, and just its ability just to sack your 1-drops off, and just be able to play this body that KOs something. And then, of course, you can get your 1-drops back with Pride of Universe 11 Jiren. So you just keep this cycle going of you keep filling up your board, you keep presenting threats, and it's just, the deck is just so consistent at doing this. It's so strong at constantly presenting a new threat every single turn that the opponent has to deal with. And you just get so much versatility from your board. And this, honestly, when I've played Jiren before, I've played the versions that relied on just Topo and 10-drop Jiren. as the means of winning the game itself. But this deck just trumps those so hard because of just how fast it is and just how well it uses and recycles its board over and over again. And that's one of the things that learning about Jiren and testing, like, you need to play a strategy that gets the absolute most value out of having a board. And so that's why blue-yellow was like the first inclination, because, you know, you have all this synergy. You know, you have Hit and Cold Blood, you have, you know, 10-drop Jiren. But in green-yellow, like, I was playing it the first time, I was like, man, I was like, getting to 10-drop Jiren, like, I have to wait until, you know, turn five. Like, I have to establish my board. I have to get successor 10. There was a lot of, like, things that I was, like, forced to do to make stuff happen. Whereas in this deck, like, everything just works together so well that you just end up getting that result you want. You have the cards on your board that you can sack to your stuff early. You have the versatility of the different removal types. You have battle cards that come into play for free. You have the payoffs you want with the 8-drop Sun Gohan as opposed to everything else. You're playing Raider's Warcry, and the fact that it's a 4 isn't a detriment. You know, you're going to be able to do so much with this deck. Like I said, probably the most impressive deck I've played in testing. In my opinion, this is the makings of probably the best green-yellow Jiren deck that you're going to see in the game itself. You have tons of sideboard options as well. And like I said, you can play the version with Draft Box 4 cards, without. And like I said, those final flashes are flexible. You can make that another copy of Cooler, which, you know, is perfectly fine. You could play another another 2-drop promo Topo if you have access to it. Like, the deck itself, you don't need Raider's Warcry, as I showed in the, like, sample hand and turn progression. It's just like a nice to have. Like, it's just nice to have that defensive card or that offensive card that just allows you to put even more pressure on. But even without the card itself, the deck is just gas. So keep that in mind as you're testing, as you're moving forward. Like I said, in my opinion, probably the best green-yellow Jiren deck out there right now. And, you know, of course, I'm personally biased. But, again, this is the deck I would 100% snap call and play at the Vegas Regional or TOP if you're playing in the standard portion. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for all the support lately for the subscribers. Make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because you can actually win a copy of the Android 13 deck that I posted, which I will mail out as soon as I have all of my product for Series 9, which is going to be coming in relatively soon. Because, of course, we went through Bearded Collectibles, best shop on the planet. And so once I get that, we'll pick a winner on Wednesday, and then the deck will be mailed out to you, so you can go ahead and start destroying your locals with Budget Brew Android 13. And then also stay tuned, because I'm going to be posting the non-Budget Brew with that deck, which I actually spent a lot of time testing last night. So anyway, thank you guys so much for everything. If you're interested in getting better at the game on a daily basis, make sure you check out the Patreon. You can subscribe and not only get access to articles, but also the Discord. You can do deck doctors, monthly camps, and then of course now we have the new THICCBOI tier, so make sure you check that out, read some of the material on there. And then of course, like I said, if you haven't got your shield product yet, make sure you go through Alpastrana Beard Collectibles. #ScruffFam is best fam. Okay, thanks. Bye!